A recent CDC report found the number of teen girls going to the emergency room for eating disorders almost doubled during the pandemic. Summer can be a higher risk for teens and young adults in developing an eating disorder. Joining us now is Dr. Deborah Michelle, National Clinical Director of Virtual Care for the Eating Recovery Center. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's jump right in here. Why are we seeing these eating disorders develop, and why do they tend to get worse in the summer?
Well, thank you so much for having me to discuss this very important topic. And Andy, I think you mentioned in the earlier segment, you talked about changing schedules. And summertime is certainly a time for young people where their schedules tend to change pretty dramatically. And often it's with less supervision and adult oversight. So for those that are vulnerable to eating disorder development, this can be a time where they're on social media much more. They're able, obviously it's so very hot. We've been talking about our weather situation recently. So often less clothing is worn. There's a lot of body comparison that goes on. And we can talk a little bit about eating disorder development in a moment. The other thing that I'll mention, in addition to the changing schedules, is what a huge time of transition summer can be for many young people. So it can be going from middle school to high school. It can be going off to college. And while those events are very positive in a lot of ways, they can also be very stressful. So when you already have someone struggling, let's say, with anxiety, feelings of low self-esteem, feeling uncertain about social acceptance, those kinds of things. This can be a time then where dieting and other kinds of eating disorder behaviors can become a way to feel better and try to sort of take control over things that we don't often have control over. And so then it can become this perfect storm, like we talk about hurricane development. So for those that already are engaging in eating disorder behaviors or have an eating disorder, we can absolutely see it worsen. This is also a time we can see all those elements come together and actually then create this perfect situation in this season of life for eating disorder development.
There are so many different risk factors. Let's talk about resources here. What are some of the resources for those who are struggling with an eating disorder or a caring family member?
Absolutely. Certainly, Eating Recovery Center, we seek to be a resource for all. So for professionals, for family members, for individuals that are concerned about themselves. So we have all sorts of resources listed on our website at eatingrecovery.com. There are also organizations such as the National Alliance for Eating Disorders that offers resources for everyone, and organizations like Project Heal. So I would say if you are a concerned parent, pay attention to your parental radar. Make that phone call. We offer complimentary assessments because we want care to be accessible to everyone. And so, as you mentioned, I'm the National Clinical Director for Virtual Care, which is available for everyone in the state of Texas as well as other states. And we're very fortunate for those in your viewing area because we have 2 local treatment centers, one in Houston and one in the Woodlands as well.
Such a great point for parents, especially, that they really need to pay attention and watch out for those signs. Dr. Deborah Michelle, we appreciate your insight and perspective this morning. Thank you so much for your time. And be sure to go to click2houston.com/seen at 7 for more.